Arna Washington, you may not recognize her name or her face. Arna is a retired teacher from Texas, and in 1984, her daughter Dee Dee was murdered. Within 10 years of Dee Dee's murder, her husband had died of a heart attack and her son had died of kidney failure. And Arna was so hurt and broken by the loss of her family, she blamed the deaths on the man who had taken the life of her daughter. But through God's grace, she was able to forgive. And she now goes around and talks to churches about the healing power of forgiveness and the hope that it brings. And when she goes to the churches, she brings a man with her by the name of Ron Flowers. And what Ron does is he talks about what it's like to be forgiven. Because Ron is the man that took the life of Arna's daughter, Dee Dee. My name is Cinda Peary. I'm a criminal justice major at Liberty University with hopes of pursuing a law degree. And through my studies, I found that we are a nation in need of rehabilitation. As Christians, we need to be active in programs that create a cycle of reclaiming hearts and lives through redemption in Jesus Christ. We have lost sight of God's value of justice and forgiveness. We can see this in the overcrowdings in our prisons. There is a definite need for rehabilitation. We have demographic groups that stand a higher risk of incarceration. And as Christians, we need to be involved in programs that can help pull people out of these situations. Prison overcrowding indicates a need for rehabilitation. And in his book, Criminal Justice, James and Carty states that in 2008, 60% of all inmates had not yet been convicted of a crime. They sat in prisons or in jails waiting to be tried or arraigned. But that's 60% of the jail population that we can reach before they fall too far into the criminal justice system. When the corrections secretary for the Palm Beach area was giving an interview on recidivism, he was talking about the high rate and saying that 2/3 of all released inmates will reoffend within 3 years. And in 2011, 1 in every 100 adults was living behind bars. You see, we have a rising crime rate that we're trying to incarcerate our way out of. Demographic factors show that specific minority groups are at a greater risk for being incarcerated. In 2009, the Center for Health and Justice did a study showing that Hispanics are incarcerated at a rate 2.5 times that of whites, and that African Americans are incarcerated at a rate 7 times higher than that of whites. The undereducated and the uneducated are at a higher risk for incarceration. The Civil Rights Project did a survey that showed that 68% of all inmates did not have a high school diploma. That's like taking the state of New Hampshire, the population of the state of New Hampshire, and them not having a high school diploma. And then the impoverished. James Williams did a study on poverty and crime, and he talked to sociologists and criminal justice scholars. And what they found was that as goes poverty rate, so goes the crime rate. There's a direct correlation between poverty and crime. They say that they developed the economy theory, which states that they weigh the cost and the benefit, and if the benefit is higher than the cost, then the crime rate rises. So knowing these factors, what we need to do is we need to create a cycle of reclaiming the hearts and lives of inmates through the redemption of Jesus Christ. And we need to do this through becoming active in programs. Prison Fellowship International has a program called Communities of Restoration, and the point of the program is to reconcile the inmate with the people that he has offended, but above all, reconciliation with his Creator, God. And through these projects, they are designed to reduce offending behavior and to teach character and faith building. Linda Mills, in a book that she puts out called What Then Shall We Do, talks about healing through advocacy. And she talks about training communities and congregations to stand ready to help inmates re-enter the community through Bible studies and mentoring. And then there's faith-based community organizations that are in place to bridge gaps that leave families struggling for food and housing and competing needs that cause offenders to reoffend. We are a nation in need of rehabilitation. God's redemptive love and forgiveness can be seen through actively participating in community healing projects. Consider, if you will, Matthew 5:25, 43 through 45. Jesus said, "I was a stranger and you did not take me in, naked and you did not clothe me, sick and in prison and you did not visit me." Then they also will answer him, saying, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and thirsty, naked or in prison or a stranger, and did not minister to you?" Then he will answer them and say, "Assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did not do it to the least of these, you did not do it for me." Let's not be a people who talk about bettering our community. Let's be a people who better our community. I challenge you to not merely sit by, but to get involved. We can have all the rehabilitation programs in the world, but it will do no good if we fail to utilize them.